thing. Yeah, no worries at all. I'm going to go through a presentation that'll be even less than that, just to kind of give us our subjects that we're going to talk about. If you have to jump off, don't worry. There's going to be a recording afterwards. So within the next 30 minutes, you'll definitely get the brunt of everything that I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to give a little presentation that's going to highlight some of the subjects we're going to talk about. And then I really want to have a Q&A at the end just to make it a constructive conversation between everybody, and just see if we can kind of answer some questions. So you know what, it is 12. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. So today, really appreciate everyone joining. If you were in our last webinar with Alignable last week, we talked a lot about website maintenance and driving results and search engine optimization and things like that. So we felt it was kind of necessary to kind of pull it back a little bit and have this webinar where we're just talking about website design and sort of the essentials that go into that. Really getting into modern website design standards, creating a professional website design for your business, and what are the kind of like standards and practices involved in meeting modern design standards, creating an ideal user experience. So today we're going to be talking about graphic design and branding, creating a user-friendly layout and organization, mobile focus, being responsive, and really creating sort of like that optimized user experience. And then we're also going to get into some other things around sort of like marketing integrations and technical requirements that through the entire design process, you should be planning to make sure that you're just continuously creating that overall best presentation for your business and creating a user experience that's really ideal, considering sort of like the modern landscape that we're currently in. So let's explore some key aspects of creating a modern and professional website for your business. The first big topic that we're going to talk about today is graphic design and branding. So getting into sort of like the visual aspect of this, looking at your website as it's just another marketing tool, right? It's part of one of the series of marketing tools that you're using for your business. So of course, it should be consistent with the rest of your brand. Use your company colors, fonts, styling. So many times within my career, I land on a website for the first time, a business that I'm talking to, and I go, why is your logo red and blue and your website is yellow and green? There's no consistency here. There's no cohesion. Your business cards, your letterhead, your brochure, any paid advertising that you're doing, everything across the board, all of your marketing materials need to be well branded and consistent. And this really applies to sort of like the images that you're using, both in your marketing materials and especially in your website. I know stock imagery and video comes up in a lot of conversations around websites. So something I just kind of want to like plant in everyone's head today is don't just go to iStock or Envato or one of the stock libraries and just buy a stock image. We all go to that lawyer website and we see the stock photo of the scales of justice, right? And every lawyer across the board has that same image. After a while, when you do that, it doesn't engage the user. They just go, oh, this is like the same thing over again, and you're not pulling people in. So something that I kind of want to challenge everyone with is look at your website and say, are we starting to look like everybody else? Maybe you should have branded images as well. So think about your design presentation from a perspective of, your logo, your styling, your fonts and colors and things like that, but also look at your images and how can you visually tell your story so that it's consistent with your overall brand. If you see this example right here in the presentation, this is actually directly from the Hoothost website. So even my company, in a situation where we have to use a stock image, we're incorporating our graphics into it to create a just consistent feeling through all of our imagery and our media, so that it's all just feels like it's all supposed to be a part of the overall design. And certainly for those that have the ability to make videos, even if you're just using a platform like Zoom and recording yourself, make videos to really, just drive interactive engagement to a whole other level. You want to tell your story visually and, not just through your written content. It all has to feel like it's part of your story. So part of that conversation as well is getting into our next subject, which is content layout and organization. So this really goes into, sort of like proper structure, organization of not just the content, but also the navigation of your website, and creating an experience that is both easy to understand and absorb, easy to navigate through. And, really the main thing for us as the business owner is we're looking to create that experience that is going to lead to the triggers that we want, right? We have desired actions from a marketing tool like a website. We want the user to land on the page and fill out a form, make an online sale, or book an appointment, whatever it might be. So we need to create an ideal and organized experience to kind of guide them through that journey. So focusing on conversion rate optimization, huge. This is something that everyone just wants their website to look good, right? But you have to get results from your website. Otherwise, it's not doing anything for your business. So, really focusing on CRO to kind of create the actions that we want. Your design plays a big part in that, and really, kind of organizing to lead to those desired actions. Definitely search engine optimization is a part of this as well, because you want to structure your design for headlines to be organized correctly, your content to be organized correctly, so that Google understands your content and is able to ultimately affect your ranking and keep you out there with a high rate of relevancy. So really things like that. If you don't have the ability to do the research on it, at least talk to a web professional like myself, and we can kind of guide you on some of those search engine optimization techniques to make sure that your design is both appealing and well representing your business, but also meeting some of those like technical requirements as well. But a lot of it, if you just do a little research, read some blogs that are on the Hoot Host website, and certainly in the Hoot Host group, we share stuff like this every single day. You'll have the knowledge base to understand some of those like search engine optimization basics as well. We talked a lot about that in the last webinar. And really, as far as the content layout and organization goes, the main thing I just want everyone to really take away from this is just avoid clutter, keep it clean, professional. I know we all want to make an impact and kind of have our own kind of style on things, but really, just always remember the old adage that simplicity is always best. Keep it clean and professional. And that kind of plays into our next subject, which is modern design standards. If you really pay attention to kind of how things have changed in recent years with design standards, both in websites, apps, and kind of the entire online experience, it has really gone much more towards kind of a clean, more open experience. So if you look at like this little example here that's in the presentation, you'll see all this open space, right? And it leads you to the headline, which is kind of like the focal point of the design. And then through that content, it's kind of guiding you over to this lead generation form. So right there is an example of how we have a design that is very clean and simple. It's got kind of this modern touch to it, but it's also looking to drive results and drive conversions for your business. So that's kind of an example of like a more modern design standard. The real thing for your business is like, you want it to just be up to date and look like it's part of this decade at the very least. Don't let your business fall behind and look like it's still in 1983 when websites were first starting to get built. You want it to be the best representation and the most up-to-date presentation for your business, your products, and your services. So again, I know everyone wants to make an impact and kind of be unique, but ultimately a clean, professional, and well-optimized overall presentation is what's going to lead to better results for your business. And again, I really just want to kind of harp on this, that conversion rate optimization, the more you focus on that, it's going to create results for your business. So now at this point in the presentation, I just kind of want to go over to some kind of like user experience things and kind of creating the best experience possible for the visitors that are going to your site. So a big part of this conversation is making your website responsive and mobile friendly. So you'd be surprised actually that this is still kind of a thing that a lot of people don't realize. But you want your website to be consistent across all browsers and all devices. It should not be a situation of you have this beautiful website on desktop computer, and then when you go over to the mobile, it feels nothing like it. It doesn't have the same energy and feeling. The messaging might be, not consistent. The spacing, colors, and just overall branding is not exactly there. You want it to be completely consistent and have a clean flow, basically, regardless of browser or device that people are using. So always design with a mobile focus, and just realize you're doing that because the majority of visitors to your website nowadays, they're coming through a phone. That's just the world we live in. So if you're, using a platform like WordPress, but especially Wix, Webflow, and Squarespace, they've actually gone to a step forward in empowering business owners who are on those platforms, where you can actually, when you're in the editing panel of your website, you can actually look at the website on desktop and go down to the mobile version, and you can edit them independently. So you can, make sure your desktop version looks great, beautiful, bring it down to mobile and adjust there independently without affecting the desktop, and vice versa. So that's how you can create sort of this consistent experience regardless of the browser or the particular device that a user is using. Very important. I can just speak from my own experience. A lot of new businesses that I come across, they come to my business and they say, hey, I need help just with the overall presentation of my website, and certainly optimization and things like that as well. And as soon as I look at their website, especially on mobile, I'm always just like, you can always tell the websites that have been not staying up to date with these type of standards. So the next big part of the conversation here, this is an interesting one because this is actually kind of like an afterthought for a lot of people. You went to Wix or you went to WordPress and you set up a website for your business, and then, you made it all perfect. Everything was great. And then all of a sudden you realize like, oh, wait, we need to integrate like the marketing tools that we, need in order to get results. But now we kind of have to like slap those things in. And, all of a sudden they're not really consistent with, this great presentation that we created. So from moment one, when you are putting together your website, make sure that you are designing to maximize the integrations and also technical requirements that kind of come with having a website, especially one that you want to get results. So don't just design a website to look good, design a website with seamless integrations that are going to lead to the results that you want for your business. So this means your marketing integrations, pop-ups, banners, a chat bot, lead generation tools, all the things that we hear from marketing professionals that you need to have in a website. Yeah, they're really, really important, but you also want them to be seamlessly part of your overall design and brand. It's really all about consistency and, not just feeling like, these things were kind of slapped in afterwards, because you can always tell when that's the case, and it ruins the overall user experience, and it makes people not really want to navigate through your site. Or, if that lead generation form doesn't really feel like natively part of the design, people are less likely to engage with it. If the chatbot isn't really part of like it doesn't have the correct kind of like language, and even, the color is different, whatever it might be, all these little things about, consistency really matter, because it's going to drive people to either engage with it or not engage with it. So you just want everything to be consistent across the board, and, really try to get the most out of those marketing tools from both a visual and engagement perspective. And then another thing that I really just want everyone to really remember, this is a really important point, is going back to a little bit of the search engine optimization conversation. You want to always be designing with technical requirements in mind for SEO, performance, and having the site load fast, very important for all of us, right? And accessibility just as much. So number one, you want to follow kind of, there's a reason why templates are put together the way that they are. And there's a reason that, web professionals like myself, we talk about content structure for headlines and your body copy, that it needs to be put together a certain way so that Google will accept it and help rank you higher. And then also from the performance aspect, we just want to make sure we're not uploading huge images or huge videos that are going to slow the site down. You want to make sure all of your media, especially those branded images, if you're able to do that, that they're just optimized for web and they're not going to slow your website down. You want to always have a fast and high performance overall user experience. And then the last thing I'll really talk about is accessibility. You want to make sure that integrations, like a tool with like Userway, everyone should go to userway.org and make sure that an accessibility tool like that is worked into your website. Also, you can make sure that it's well branded with your overall design, with, you know, changing the color and the language and everything. But these tools are really important for people with a visual, hearing, mobility, or developmental disability. We want everyone to be able to engage with our site. We want everyone to be able to understand you know, what our business does, and, you know, be able to kind of interact with the overall experience of the website, and really just be able to serve everyone, right? It's not only a legal responsibility to be ADA compliant, but it's also a social one. So, you know, working in those tools and making sure that they are consistent with our design is also very important, and it's going to drive more results. So let's just talk about next steps, really how to improve our design. The thing that I really just try to, whether we're talking about design topic like this today, or optimization, blogging, whatever it might be, the real kind of message that I always give to everyone about like how to approach improvements is just to have realistic goals and set sort of like short attainable goals. So you can just say, you know, you don't feel like you're throwing darts at the wall and, you know, just hoping something sticks. You're saying, you know, we're doing this month, so that 3 months from now, we know that, you know, these standards are in place, so that we know by the end of the year or Q4, you know, we're seeing organic traffic and we're seeing more engagement. And, you know, we changed the design to be more conversion focused. And now all of a sudden we're getting forms filled out and people are actually getting in contact with us. So, you know, set those kind of like short attainable goals so that you're making progress month to month and quarter to quarter. And before you know it, you're going to have an impactful website. So these are conversations that we talk about all the time. I think everyone who's here today, for the most part, is probably a member of the Hoot group. I hope everyone who's a member of the group has been engaging with the articles that we share, and really checking out a lot of the tools that we share, because this is all kind of meant to give you the knowledge base and the tools to go ahead and, you know, kind of achieve some of the stuff that we're talking about, whether it's design improvements or blogging, and, you know, doing that effectively, search engine optimization, and even figuring out things like conversion rate. Again, like I talked about in the beginning of the webinar, I really wanted today to be less of me giving a big presentation and more of a conversation. So let's see if I can take some questions from everyone. I'm just going to check out the chat here. I see some activity going on. And I really just wanted to, you know, be able to take questions from everyone and kind of make a more constructive conversation.